What's
hey,
We're gonna walk over.
I guess the line is, oh yeah, well, I'll step all over you. That's what I did last time.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, welcome back to the green room. This is another B-sides episode.
Besides what? Mr. Gemini here.
Yeah, Philly D. Yeah, B-sides. B-sides you. Yeah, we're in the green room. You know, that's how we do it. We
warm up. We're doing our warm up.
We do stuff. We don't admit to it. I mean, other than like maybe the beers or tequila or moonshine or all right. So maybe we're honest. I don't know.
Well, whatever. It stays here. That's all.
I can neither confirm nor deny at this point in time. It
does stay here, and this is our time down here. You were the last one to make that reference. It was my turn.
Well, you brought it out of me. That was the thing.
Yeah.
All right. I think you intentionally set me up. I'm not sure. There may have been an assist on that. I don't. We'll have to go back and check the tapes.
You do that. Keep me informed.
Actually, I do. I was going back over past episodes and stuff, and
yeah, you try to trend things, see if there's certain things that come up.
Well, you know me. One, I'm always trying to listen for better audio quality because I want to make sure it sounds pretty dope. At least as far as what equipment we have, because we pay for this crap. Mm-hmm. So we don't have tons and tons of money for it, but so the money.
I like how you use the royal we there.
Well, of course, dude. Hey, man, dude. My stuff's your stuff. Because yeah, no, it's just for real. Like, dude, we're family, bro. I mean, my stuff's your stuff, right?
And my stuff's yours?
Well, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why, dude, if you come to my house, you can take the last thing, but when you do, you just got to be like, yo, I took the last thing, so I know to get more. You
could be like my crazy Uncle Buck for my kids.
I mean, I think that's a pretty dope thing to aspire to. Uncle Buck is super, super awesome, bro. Dude,
oh my God.
I mean,
you should see the toast.
Couldn't even get it through the door. Yeah, and then he punches the clown in the nose for telling the dirty jokes. That's good stuff.
Did he still have the cigar in his hand, too?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was holding one. Yeah, I forget the actor's name, but he's actually a pretty well-known actor. But you can't really tell because he's all painted up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up sometime. Sure. Not now, because, dude, I'm in the green room. I'm chilling. I got, tequila and stuff.
Enjoy. I got something else sitting here waiting for me.
Well, yeah, it was some of the tequila you brought me for my birthday. I still have some because, I'm just, I'm not really drinking as much. So when I do drink, it's with you. I think you're a bad influence. This is what's happening here.
No, it's like a celebration. See, we're not drinking to get drunk. We're drinking because it's medicine. It helps loosen the tongue a little bit, gets you comfortable, gets you in the zone.
And here's the thing is dude,
it's like the drunken fist.
That's not a thing. That's a Jackie Chan thing.
It's totally a thing.
It was made up.
What? No, it's got to be a thing.
It is now. Anywho, so tequila. Tequila's original creation was as a medicine, believe it or not.
I don't think I'd ever heard that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so tequila, when, originally made, back in the 1800s, I think, or something. And, I have to go back and double check that, but something like that. So, ways ago, it was a thing that, if you had an open wound, pour it on it. It'll disinfect it. Got an issue with your gut, drink a little. It'll clean you up.
Well, there's a whole thing too with the cactus is it's like a national treasure.
It's a healing plant. I mean, think about this.
Aloe is also in a similar family with the.
Well, so the agave is this massively beautiful plant that thrives under the extremes of a desert.
Right.
Dude, think about that, man. If this plant is able to do this, if this being, then what how much good is going to come out of that thing, dude? If it has that much ability to push back on the adversity that it's in, Sasuke, man, dude, that's dope.
Yeah, I mean the way that they succulents is what they're called, right? The way they absorb all that water and hold on to it, so that you could people have been known to actually that are nearly dying of thirst out in the desert will be able to chop. Certain types of cactus have quite a bit of.
I think it's cactuses.
No. I always wondered, if you own several Lexus, are they Lexi?
No, they're Lexuses.
And it just sounds weird.
Well, that's what it is, though.
Well, anywhere else in nature, it'd be Lexi.
Well, so here's the thing, dude. When a word ends in S or ES or an I, that's the difference of whether it's a Latin or Greek derivative.
When it's a proper name, I guess, too. So, yeah,
Well, whatever its derivative is. So, I mean, think about that. Lexus isn't a Japanese word. That's an American word.
American?
Yeah, America, but it's from, so if it's English, then it's coming from a Latin derivative. So that's why it's an ES.
Lexuses.
Yeah, Lexuses. I own several Lexuses.
All right. I'll have to learn me that correctly.
I mean, we'll think, what's the alternative? I own several Lexi.
I know it does sound funny, but somehow appropriate. I don't know. There's a lot of things about the English language that don't make sense.
I'm not going to say it. Left it wide open. I'm going to be more respectful than that. What?
No, go, please, bring it.
I've grown up. I'm beyond that. Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead. Mock me. Scoff at me.
I'm going to have to do...
Dude, I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Tangent man. It's a freaking green room. We can do whatever the hell we want. Yeah. I haven't had one of those. I'm going to... Oh, yeah.
So I'm opening...
Mothership Connection.
A hazy double IPA.
Oh, mango kiss off. It's pretty dope. It's quite delicious.
A lot going on in the flavor there.
You got a lot going on in the flavor there.
All right. Moving right along.
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd say. Oh, did I derail you? It's green room, man. You need to...
Huh?
We got to get the
sillies
out.
I'm getting the sillies out. We're loosening up. And I'm not quite silly yet. I guess I need to have another...
I need to drink more. Is that what you're saying? Do you need to drink to be around me? This is what I'm hearing. So notice how he just I'm not gonna answer that question.
So I told you I was listening to a couple or watching a couple of videos with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, our guy, Mr. Physics, super intelligent.
And one of the things that I don't just came up in conversation I thought was really cool. Like he was saying that the question actually to him, because the guy had read his book and he was pulling questions out of the book. So it was kind of a leading question, and that most of them were. But he said, "Where's the highest peak on the planet?" And like he goes totally against what the common belief is, that the highest peak is. I can't think of the damn name of the mountain. That's terrible. The highest peak known to
Mount St. Helens or whatever, or no, not that.
This is terrible.
Nah, yeah, you're killing me.
But the whole point of it was that if you draw it from the center, the actual center of the Earth, well, the Earth is fatter along the center because it's spinning. So technically, I think the highest peak he said is somewhere in Ecuador.
Everest.
That's what's listed, Mount Everest, correct?
Right.
But he said in actuality, it's this other peak in Ecuador because that's like the bulbous, the most fat part. Because apparently the Earth is it's spherical, but it's somewhat pear-shaped.
It's oblong elliptical. Yeah.
And it's an oblique spheroid, I think is what he said. Or something, I don't know.
Yeah, same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
6 or a half dozen, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, we always thought it was like this perfectly round thing. When actuality, it's wide at the base or at the midsection because it's rotating, so it bulbs out, and it's not exactly straight up. It's not symmetrical as it goes from north to south either. It's kind of squatted.
Right, because what happens?
Squatted, but it's also pushed out further at the diameter than it is from north to south.
What happens when you spin something that is? It seems solid, but it still has a lot of fluidity to it. The Earth, and when you spin something at relatively 1,000 miles an hour or something like that. Eventually what you have is you have a squash down between the distance between the North and South Pole is a complete different distance between if you were to take an east-west approach on either side and measure that diameter, it's a totally different number. And that, yes, it is squashed down and bigger in the middle.
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah, you totally did. But now everyone knows it because we both said it.
Hey, get off my Kool-Aid. Oh, I probably should, dude. You should. This is Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yo, get off my Kool-Aid, you tubby bitch. Oh, Jesus, I love those guys. They're freaking hilarious.
We still have to watch our movie.
I mean, there's
Reminder. We still.
because I even told you that we need to watch the reboot. Which, I mean, they even say it's a reboot because it's more or less the same exact story.
No, I was saying we still have a movie to watch.
Idiocracy.
Right, correct.
Yeah, no, the list is just getting,
You're just adding to the, yeah. We're not there yet. We're in the now.
We need to hang out more. I miss you. I don't
Really, I told you before the show we can't do this again. All right.
That's not what the counselor told us.
We can't.
So we need to work this shit out.
There's no counselor. I don't know where he's.
Well, not now. I mean,
You have a break with reality, sir. I don't know what's going on.
We'll have a break after this. But
Because this is certainly not reality.
is any of this real? What's the phrase? Perception makes it real.
Sure it does.
Yeah. So if it's your belief system, then that's your.
Well, but that's the weird thing about what people consider truth. Did we have that conversation before?
Yeah. Well, the difference between a truth and a fact, I think, is the conversation we had. Where a truth is something of what we would deem as an opinion, whereas fact is something that's provable on a consistent basis, causing it to be a theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's highly provable. See, people
Repeatable.
Well, yeah, highly probable, but I always say highly provable because that's really the thing. Because you have to prove this statement, and that's when it's like, oh, that's a theory, which makes it a fact.
With empirical evidence.
Oh,
Empirical.
You so fancy.
I learned that all on my own.
Have you been working out your word things?
I'm constantly trying to work out my word things.
Good. That's.
Not to mention trying to remember names. I'm actively trying to do better with that. Because obviously with any new venture, it's always good to be able to, use somebody's actual name instead of, hey, you, or, hey, striped shirt.
Well, and see me, like, personally, dude, like, there's plenty of times where I straight up just look at the person and be like, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. What is your name? Well, we had this conversation.
Don't you lie to me.
Well, we had this conversation where I was talking about the lessons that I learned is being honest pays. So attempting to just always express yourself as succinctly as possible, be impeccable with your word, right? To me, that's the position I'm always attempting to take. Doesn't mean that it comes out that way, but that's my intent. And,
Right.
So because of that, it's like, yeah, dude, you know what? I'd rather try to be straight up with you because if I can't, then I just don't want to talk about it. For real, like, dude, because you can't say something nice, don't say none at all, right? That's what moms and grandmas teach you, and aunts and shit. And
I think I might have heard that once in my life. I heard it referenced many times, but none. I don't know.
none you.
None you. But yeah, something like that sticks with you. That's for real. For reals, man.
But really, bruh.
Bro.
And that's that thing, though, is, yeah, man, like, dude.
You call me women's undergarments?
Yeah, there, he just did it again. If you just, what did I say? The Dr. E10, man.
Which what?
You gotta stay in the pocket.
Yeah, stay in the pocket.
Right. So even when you have those difficult conversations and you have to give answers that are less than favorable, no matter how you spin it, right?
Just rip that Band-Aid off.
To me, it's that thing of, are you going to be more hurt by the fact that I was honest with you, or are you going to be more hurt by the fact that, like, I was mean as shit and just, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a tough thing too, because, like, and I've caught myself doing this with other people, like, where if there's news that I feel like I really need to share with this person, because otherwise, they're close to me, they should know this stuff, whatever it is.
we have a similar situation with that.
But like certain people, it's like I don't know if you do, but I naturally tend to want to have a filter with certain people over others. Like, okay, well, this person I have to deliver it this way, or, Like there's some people that will handle certain aspects of it differently. So you kind of have to ease them into it versus, but it's hard to take that tack though, to just be straightforward and honest and say it like it is with no emotion. This is it. Right.
Well, yeah, because the alternative is, being mean and hurtful because I'm lying to you. So not only did I do that to you, but I basically told you, it's like, I thought you were dumb enough I could get away with it. It's the perception, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So of course,
whether you think that actual thought in your head or whether that thought actually just kind of affects what you do moving forward.
Yeah, well, and my bigger thing is like, again, just you're always trying to be impeccable because it's just being upfront and honest is typically in the long run going to be that better thing.
Isn't that what this is all about with us though? I mean, the whole idea of just like learning how to just speak what's on your mind without, in some senses, especially right now, we don't have to worry about having a filter per se.
Well, there's already two here. Bad joke. Yeah, I was pointing at the pop filter and the mic filter.
Yeah, well.
Their screen, they feel, I don't know.
This is how we do. Yeah.
It's Wednesday night. Yeah, man. But, because that alternative is, that you've been treated like absolute crap to the point that you've been, mocked in a sense. Because, it's like, dude, I thought I could get away with this.
Well, but the tough thing is like...
Which is not the intent, because it's usually just,
Like some people are going to take certain things a certain way, and it's like, why do I feel it's my responsibility at times to protect them from certain information because I think it might affect them in a negative way. It's really difficult to follow number one, I guess is what I'm saying.
Which is why
just to recap our previous conversation, because nobody got to hear this, but
everybody's heard.
I listened to a short version of the 4 Agreements on the way over here. So it was like somebody who read the book and really got into it, and then they basically spoke on it and broke it down really simple. And it was like a 30-minute video.
Yeah, so they did like a quick synopsis.
And anybody who's interested in reading at all, or even likes to check out YouTube videos, 30 minutes isn't that much of a, investment. If it's something, it's life improving. I definitely agree. Definitely agree with that.
I believe all of your actions can be seen and should be seen as investments.
Yeah.
Because even if I learned...
What are you investing in though?
Even if it finally put me to that point where I'm like, this thing no longer interests me and I'm never going to do this again, then that thing was very important because it was the last time you needed to do it to get you to do the thing you want to do.
Right.
That's an investment.
Sure.
It's all about how you look at it, bro.
Well, like when we've had that conversation before, that just because it doesn't seem like you're still working towards your goal, you've reached this mountaintop and then you see the mountaintop you really want to be on. And like, it feels like you made no progress at all, but that was where you had to go to get to where you're going next. But you're still, just remember to keep that in target, right?
Yeah, stay in the pocket.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Stay in the pocket means...
But you keep your eye on your relatively long-term goals.
Yeah, stay focused on the thing that you know is going to work, which I always say is it doesn't matter what your belief system is as long as you believe in it. So if you use that thing to keep your focus, move forward, then stay focused on that. Stay in the pocket. Like, do your thing. Always be focused on that thing. Yeah, man. That's where you get into like the idea of like routines and all that stuff. That's why super successful people, I did air quotes in case you couldn't see that because you can't, but successful people, they always say is, their biggest thing is their routine. It's built because it builds their habits and it supports those habits. And these are habits that they've done to modify. I mean, when Rich Dad, Poor Dad basically explains it as it's a psychological place of being, whether you're going to be poor or rich. Which, psychology really backs that up. It's mentality, man.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I've come to you and other people in my family that I've said I am a strong believer in the mind-body connection. That what you do in one aspect of your life affects the other aspects of your life. So if you eat shit food, your mood will vary depending on the quality of the fuel that you're using. Or
it certainly has an impact. Yeah, I agree.
Or if you allow emotional things like fear, which is a big topic for me. If you allow fear or basically any, like, toxic emotions, to spend too much time within that is actually, I mean, your cortisol levels increase. Your in some cases, your adrenaline can be on a slow release constantly, so that you're always basically in a low level fight or flight. And that changes, your ability to eat and keep food down. You can get sick. So that there's a real strong connection, but I've always believed that there's a real firm connection between body, mind, spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you are what you eat, but I would take it to the point of you are what you think. And because if you think in that aspect of this is the type of person I am, then you're going to eat in a certain fashion. You're going to maintain your hygiene in a certain fashion, your psychological well-being, and sort of everything's going to be done to support that belief system. That's why I said, dude, it doesn't matter what you believe in as long as you believe your belief. As long as you believe in the system, and people do blindly. Unfortunately, sometimes those systems put them into a place that just perpetuates a cycle of angst and anxiety and pain and just
not to get into attacking any one particular thing, but I mean, you can look at all sorts of things like that have become money driven, that really no longer, is the medical community as a whole really concerned about my general health, or are they just trying to sell me something? And it's not even fair to say it's either one or the other, but things like that I don't always accept everything at face value. I hardly ever accept everything at face value. I question everything.
Well, I think you should to a certain degree. I always say just question. And it's not because it's it's going to be wrong, but what if it is, as well as just to be certain that it's yes, this definitely does align. So, you kind of have to.
Well, I think it's really important to question everything. And it doesn't have to be in an argumentative sense. It could just be internally. I'm not going to accept everything at face value. It doesn't mean I'm just going to buck anything that people try to tell me to do or whatever. But it's just if you're easing me into it, I'm going to be thoughtful about what it is that's going on and if it's something I want to be a part of, or, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you have to vest your effort.
Well, and to guard yourself against things that, kind of are counter to you.
And the thing for me is I feel as though by doing this, I can still embrace the idea, so I can still take your perspective. I can still listen to the way you want to have it be, and I can get it and understand it and validate it. Doesn't mean that I'm going to believe it, but I'm at least going to put that kind of concerned effort out there. So,
well, one of the statements that was said in this abridged version of the 4 agreements was in regards to number 1, which was
not number 2.
In regards to not rule, but agreement number 1 is to be impeccable with your word. And he goes into detail about things like gossip and how activities like this, or being resentful, or even if it's something you never express openly, that all these things are actually toxic to you as a person, physically, psychologically, and then that some of these things create cycles. And one of the interesting things I heard mentioned, I think when they were talking, well, it may have been 2 as well, that he would kind of rolled it into, but the, what was number 2? It was take nothing personally.
Yeah, take nothing personal. And that's whether good or bad.
Right. So,
because that's the thing is if somebody tells you to go F yourself, you shouldn't take that personally. But if somebody says, oh my gosh, you look so amazing today, you shouldn't take that personal either.
Well, you should know it for yourself.
Exactly.
So don't necessarily let the outside influence you too much. And the important thing, my takeaway from that was, they were talking about he gave actual physical examples. He said, say a girlfriend comes to her girlfriend's house, they're going to go out to the club, And, you know, her girlfriend for the past like 2 hours has been in the bathroom. You know, she's showered, she's dressed to the nines, she's doing makeup, she's got her nails done. She's taking all this time. And then like she comes out and the friend goes, dude, why are you wearing all that? And what did you do to your face? And, you know, like you have the choice to carry that. And to the way he's put it was to take that opinion as truth. You've chosen to take that opinion as truth.
Right.
Instead of just seeing it as an opinion. Oh, okay, I can value your opinion, but I don't necessarily have to take that as truth. But people carry these things around. So the fact that that can be very toxic to you, you know, kind of all around, your body, mind, spirit, everything can be out of whack from holding on to things like that.
And to me, I'll use your example on that. So the next agreement being to, oh crap, I always forget this one.
So
yeah, the third one, yeah. So take nothing personal, make no assumptions.
Make no assumptions.
The extension, especially in the example you were using, the person receiving that statement, you know, they put all that time and effort together, and the friend says, you know, hey, you know, why are you wearing that? You know, like we're just going out to dinner. You know, makes a statement that can be perceived as negative, and the person receiving it makes the assumption that that's what they meant. So you're talking about like, oh, you're carrying that with you and you're taking that with you. It's like, well, you didn't.
Oh, yeah, but more than that.
So it's not even that you just made the choice to believe it, but you also assumed that because you probably didn't ask them, is this what you meant by that? So you've made an assumption and you're now taking that personally with you and carrying it. So that's why I think those two like intertwine very, very much because of that.
And what came up in the, and very, I mean, like I said, half hour, very short description of the book. One of the other things was that from the other perspective, that person that's saying something to you, that's passing judgment on you, or you could perceive as passing judgment on you, let's say, to be entirely fair.
You can assume.
Right. That person is speaking, they're not speaking about you in judgment of you. They're judging themselves, you know, because you don't know. Maybe they just had a really lax attitude with how they were going to get dressed for the night, and they get there and they're like, oh shit, I'm not going to be the prettiest girl at the ball. You know, now you're going to dethrone me. Maybe they get jealous. Maybe they get, you know, and that's their way of lashing out.
Projecting.
So, I mean, that can be viewed from both aspects, because I like one of the other references he made about, you know, you've had a long day at work, you come home and you've got like this, you know, crazy migraine headache. And say you come home and your kid's like jumping around, being real animated, singing, having a great time, but you lash at them and you stop that singing, it's killing me, you know? And you don't think about what you say at the time because you said it under the duress of that headache, but how that can create, you know, ripples throughout that child's life.
One of my favorite things from Mr. Rogers, he did I guess you could technically call it a monologue. He basically did a presentation from him, you know, from his experience that he had with one of his grandkids. I'll try to keep this short.
No, it's cool.
He goes to see one of his grandkids, and actually I think it was two of them. I don't know, but he goes to see his grandkid or kids. He gets there, and what had happened prior to this was they were in the middle of filming. He was becoming frustrated with some things that were going on as far as like background stuff. So, you know, I forget whether it was like some equipment wasn't working or there's some people missing or, you know, somehow or another they weren't able to record and they were already like doing all that. So he's just already had a really rough day. So he's pretty much just like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to go see my grandkids. I'm going to go to my happy place. Right.
Right.
Goes to see him. They're outside like playing with water and whatever else. And he says to him, you know, very politely, you know, he sets the boundaries. He's like, you better not get Pop wet. Like, you know, you can't get Grandpa wet or whatever. Like, got to keep that hose to yourself. And, you know, yeah, you guys are playing. That's great. That's awesome. I'm not a part of this. And then, you know, boys being boys, kept playing by spraying it closer and closer and closer and closer. And eventually, you know, after he's already said this like 2 or 3 times, he's like, yeah, you're not going to do this. You guys can do it, and that's great, and I want to watch, and I think it's awesome. Like, he's being as loving as support, because, Mr. Rogers, right?
Right.
Kid finally sprays him.
Like, full on.
Well, I mean, he wets him a little bit. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he tests the boundaries, and Mr. Rogers snaps. And, I can't remember if he says he actually, like, spanked him. He definitely gave him a verbal lashing, but that caused him, the grandson, to be sad by it. Like,
right.
We're greatly saddened. And
he was trying to have fun. He was trying to, he didn't mean any harm by it.
So the point of the whole story is Mr. Rogers took the negativity that had come from the issue earlier with work.
Carried it.
He carried it. He kept it personal. He made assumptions out of it. So he brought that with him and then projected it and caused grief and pain to his grandchild. So he's explaining all of this, and in doing so, he winds up calling him or sending him a letter, or so he communicates to him, hey, this wasn't right of me. I'm really sorry. You don't have to understand that sometimes even grown-ups lose their, especially when we're trying to be as best we can, like even the best of us make mistakes, but we can apologize, we can own it, so he was attempting to explain all of this to a very young child, like 2 or 3, 3 or 4 years old or something, maybe 5, whatever, old enough that they can be rationalized with, so that you can communicate that they understand.
Right, but he wasn't using big words,
Well, I mean, he was and he wasn't, but he was very succinctly, he was being impeccable with his word, expressing what he did, why he did it, and what he realized came from it. Doesn't want to have that, and what he does want to have. And he basically, asks for forgiveness and says, like, hey, I want to, am I still able to, like, come see you and whatever else? And, and the kids are like, of course, I mean, I love you. And it's just like, oh my, and he's crying, Mr.
Sure.
Rogers is crying. He's like tearing up from this as he's explaining this whole story.
Well, and that's an interesting thing. But I mean, it takes somebody to be actively thoughtful all the time. That was his job. His job was to be the face of somebody who
was always impeccable.
Always impeccable.
Was never taking anything personal, made no assumptions. So
for him to fall out of line from that was more damaging to him in a way than it was to his grandchild. I
can agree with that.
That happens once in the grandkid's life, and you have a conversation with yourself to egg it right there. There'll be so many other memories that will cover that over. That kid can bounce back, no problem. But I think when you hear things repeatedly, but he realized the minute he did that, he's like, I fell out of myself for a minute. And like, he felt horrible for it. That's where the tears were coming from. Well, from that he could have caused, anguish for another person that he really cares for.
I mean, possibly. I mean, the fact that he was, being yelled at, I'm sure there's several things that are involved in it. The bigger thing is that Mr. Rogers realized that he was in the wrong, which I think is a great point, because it takes us to the 4th agreement, which is do your best always. So even Mr. Rogers, who is doing his best always and just like crushing it at being super awesome, polite, courteous, and, impeccable and appreciative, even he screws up sometimes, man. Like, we're only human, right? But if you're always giving that 100%, because that's what I always say is, I don't care if you have like 10% today or 20% today. If that's 100% of what you have right now, then give me that. If you only have 10% to give me today, fine, give me that 10%, because that's 100% of what you got. And I look at it at that perspective, as opposed to just being like, oh, you only give me 10%. What's wrong with you? So I have pneumonia. Right. Well, I'm being facetious, but, whatever the reason being, it doesn't matter, man, because you could be having a mental health day, a physical health day. You just were like, I just need a break. It doesn't matter what it is. Whether you're sick on any level, everybody's never going to always be perfect. But attempting to always do the best you can with everything else you're doing, to me, that is perfection, because that's the most beautiful life you can live, because you're being impeccable or always attempting to. And just, I don't know, I think that's dope.
Do you think it takes more effort to be nice?
I think it takes more effort to be a dick, because you kind of have to like sit there and think about it and go over it and like make plans and be like all malicious and have like, like maniacal laughs about stuff like, oh, I'm going to get him. No, dude, that takes time, energy, and effort to just look at somebody and go, Have a nice day. Takes no time, energy, or effort, really. It's like it takes more muscles to frown than it does smile.
But it's just, I don't know. I just was thinking about that. Like, how come sometimes it seems like it takes so much more effort to be nice?
Because it's going against your programming.
You know, if people are essing on you all day long, you know, how do you bounce back from that in every conversation and just be, you know, the guy that takes nothing personal?
By doing your habits, man. They're all habits. You know, it's that 7-year theta thing where you learn who to be and how you're going to react. That's where you get the mentality of, like, you know, rich person, poor person. You know,
well, in some cases, what I'm talking about, though, is learning to reprogram yourself.
Well, but that's exactly it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, learning to rewrite your own code.
You can.
Like, I can't accept this from myself, and this is now unacceptable behavior from where I want to be in the next 5 years.
This no longer supports my belief system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Succinct.
Bruh.
Bro, you did it again.
This is what I do, though. Sorry, it's just, you know, fucking.
Fuck, you just gotta drop that.
What, dude? It's green. Dude, why are you harshing my mellow, man?
Because I can, man.
Dude, you know what else can happen because I can? Yeah, that's right. 5 fingers to the face.
Powder.
Dude, well, I was doing the Rick James, but yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll bring me the powder. And I slap not yourself. Yeah. Oh, if you pimp, you broke pimp.
We got to be in near nada territory real soon now.
Dude, we already in near nada, which puts us nowhere near nada. Which, dude, honestly, you know what? I was actually thinking about this because I was watching an episode of Joe Rogan earlier, and what's Paul Stamata or what's his the mushroom dude?
Paul Stamets.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And he was telling
I really like him.
He was telling a story that made me think about a time with you and me and like some other people, and it was a good evening.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, which comes to the whole point of like how we even got to like the fact that we quote the whole near nada thing and crack up like dude, the joke associated with that goes so far back at this point. Like, dude, that's like over 20 years.
That's like a lot of the Friday quotes that I use occasionally too, because there's so many memories behind that because of the time that was popular when it first came around.
I know. Hey, Craig, let me borrow your VCR.
And when I say if it was weird if we watched it less than 4 times in a week for a short period of time there, like several months. It was like,
oh, I get that. That was like my Breakfast Club phase. I did that for like a whole summer. I think that's when I wore out my first VHS copy of it. Yeah, that's
VHS. What's that? Look it up,
really,
kid.
That really happened. That's not a joke.
Google that. You know how to Google? Yes. Google that.
No, you don't. We've.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying. You do. You out there.
You the guy.
You know how to Google.
You the guy.
Me, I'm still looking for the class.
Why
don't you call me?
Hey, call me sometime when you don't have class. Hey. Yeah, I was gonna do the Fat Albert one. Be like, you like high school in the summertime. You got no class.
I'll take that.
Oh.
How's your tequila buddy there?
It's my party pal.
It's your party pal. That is kind of like a party pal. It's one of those, like, it's like a little shorty mason jar.
You know, it's 10 and a quarter, 10 and a half ounce. I don't know.
220.
It's 220, 221. Yeah. No, it's because, I mean, well, some manufacturer, I mean, they're going to state the glass size by volume. And so whether they're going to call it like a 10-2 quarter, like 10 and 2.5, or if they're going to call it like a 10.5, I don't know. Like it's like 10 and a quarter, 10 and a half, 222. Is this what you want from me? Dance, monkey, dance. Yeah, I get it. I'm very predictable. Ha ha ha! Look at the monkey laugh. Yeah. Dance.
Are you good? You done?
Yeah, I was just clapping like the monkey with the cymbals. Ching, ching, ching.
Oh, you've done the same thing for me, pushing my buttons.
In my defense, it was warranted.
Yeah?
Yes.
It's all for the show.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what the reasoning is. Simple fact is, it was warranted. And I do not need to confirm what those are. Simple fact is, it was for the greater good.
That's that one I love. Let's not talk about who did what.
why do we need to get caught up on the small facts here? Simple thing is, this is what's happened, and we need to move forward.
Yeah, why are you getting hung up on old shit?
Yeah. No, that's. I mean,
That was like 5 minutes ago, man.
that's so 23 seconds ago. Yeah. Dude, again, I'm a wind-up monkey. Yeah, watch me dance. Yay.
Ching, ching. Yeah.
Yeah, just put the hat out so people can like throw their change in. Like we're street performers or something.
Or
Look what the monkey can do.
turning the grinder, the music box.
I was gonna say that's better than putting the monkey in the grinder.
Whoa.
I mean, in some places maybe they do that. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like it'd be a bit tough.
I don't know. No, especially when the mutton.
You got that voice out of that, huh?
Dude, I totally did. Come on. Yeah, it was MLT.
Where the mutton is nice and lean.
Mutton, lettuce, and tomato. When it's nice and lean and juicy, like fucking Billy
No,
Crystal.
clearly what he said was to blade.
No, clearly what he said was to blave, because he quoted him as he did it, because he put the bellows in his mouth and was just like whoosh, and like blew up his lungs and then just pushed down after he's
True love.
hey, you in there, hey, what do you got that's worth living for? He's like true love, and he's just like no, that's not what he said. If you heard correctly, he said to blave, which we all know means to bluff or lie. So you were probably playing cards and he owed you some money. Liar! Oh yeah, that's such a great scene.
Awesome.
See that, but that's just what I'm saying. So like,
I told you never to say that name. Humperdinck.
Oh, what Humperdinck? Yeah, and that's the thing though, is like with our I'm telling you rating system, right? With the John Hughes Meridian, dude, this is the thing. I'm gonna start grafting this stuff. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna go from hypothesis to theory. But in a movie like that, I mean, Princess Bride, dude, there isn't just quotables. There's scenes.
There's there's whole scenes where you could pull any part of some of them and it would still
especially when they're up on the mountain and they're gambling with life because they have the iocane powder, and he's like spinning the glasses back and forth or whatever. The Sicilian's just like going off on him. He's like, clearly you're a smart man, so you're not going to put the wine in front of you. However, you know that I'm a smart enough man that I know that you're going to do this, so you clearly can't put the wine in front of me. Like, he just goes into this whole thing.
Are you quite finished?
Yeah, I haven't even begun to start. Yeah, he just goes into it, and then he gets to the end or whatever, and he's just like, "Oh, what's that?" He looks away and he like switches the glass. He's like, "Oh, must have been nothing."
Never bet a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Wait, because he just starts laughing at him. He's like, "What's so funny?" He's like, "I switched the glasses when you weren't looking." It was a little known factor. What the heck? Something about a land war or whatever. He's like, but whatever you do, he's like, never bet death would. Never bet a Sicilian when there's death on the line. And he's just, and then just falls back and dead. Like, dude, that whole scene.
Suddenly, the cartoonist dies of a heart attack.
And that's the thing is, so there's going to be those movies where there's going to be scenes that are just the quotable. Because, I mean, the whole, like, once you start hearing a part of it, you're just like, oh my, and it just takes you there. Like, that's how memorable the movie is. It's not even just the fact that it's quotable. It's the fact that you can be, like, transported into the movie again.
Yeah.
It's a butterfly effect.
Takes you right back to the scene or whatever.
Yeah, like when he's reading in the journal and he's, like, going over his memories or whatever, and he starts to recall them, it's like he can just go there and, retry stuff or whatever.
That was a trippy movie. I remember I was hooked on that for a little while.
I watched it a few times.
I watch it like several times in a week because you're just like, there's something else I'm missing here. Like,
I want to say
it was definitely one of those.
I probably watched it definitely over 10, most likely under 20. So, teens in like a 6 to 9 month span of time.
Well, that's not crazy.
I did it with.
But now when you watch it, do you actually sit and watch the entire thing?
As well as I do it with an intended purpose of focus and understanding to just really start to, almost the same thing he was doing is like taking myself to that place. And that place for me was hypothesizing about this relative idea. And the thing that it always equates me to, or that I always equated to, is the scene in Old School when he's at the podium doing the debate, Will Ferrell.
We always reference that one, right?
Well, because that's the thing is like he's sitting there and he's trying to get his shit together, and then all of a sudden he just kind of like
he blacks out.
He does like this weird head bobble, like he almost like something possesses him, and it's almost to me. I always thought it was like the butterfly effect, where it was older him, 20 or 30 years later, reflecting and going back there and just be like, "This is what I should have said to that mother." He's just like, so, due to the empirical evidence, and he's just like, "What the hell?" The raging cage is just like, I have nothing to say. That was perfect. And
he was like, "What happened?"
And you get back to Will Ferrell, he's just like, what happened? I blacked out. To me, that would be what would happen doing the butterfly effect, where he goes back and like taps into that experience and redoes it.
Or did he just tap into the collective consciousness?
Well, to me, that goes back to that goes into like string theory and parallel universes, where you can just kind of like be an alternate frequency, or
because he was pulling names and dates and like very specific information just out of nowhere, and it was like, whoa, dude.
Because think about this, he's now 67, 84 years old, whatever the deal is, and he does the butterfly effect of goes back to think of that memory. So he's reading a journal because maybe he went home that night and was just like, he said this, and I can't believe that, blah blah blah. And so now, 40 years later, he has that knowledge and being injected into 40-year-old him, where his brain and everything else can actually process this information. So now he's just like, Matrix style implanted into this body, just bangs out the automatic response where it's like, you ain't got what? Mic drop, bitch.
Yeah, but it took all the rewriting his brain took a toll on him eventually, didn't it? In that movie.
The butterfly effect, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like Old School. I'm like, no, I don't know. I didn't get to see how old he was.
I thought you were talking about this. See, this is the problem. I can't even figure out what we're talking about sometimes. But
I was using the scene from Old School as a reference to what it would look like to everybody else if somebody was to do what Ashton Kutcher did in the butterfly effect of going back to that memory and actually modifying that timeline.
The part where he blacks out and then says the stuff, and then it's like, your older self just jumped into you, said this stuff, and then just bounced out.
Well, right, because that's the thing is in the butterfly effect, every time he went back to one of those memories, he was trying to modify something. And it was like the firecracker incident with the mailbox, and he winds up like losing limbs or whatever. And there was the alternate reality where...
Well, every time he tries to change something, even if it's for the better, it ends up causing all these other ripples throughout time.
Well, it's not that it causes ripples throughout time. He literally goes onto an alternate timeline or a parallel universe on this timeline or on its timeline in that same frame. Or
so he's time jumping.
In a sense, yeah.
But with a journal. Yeah, that was a really trippy movie. That was why it was one that required several viewings to get right. Well, because there was definitely a lot packed into that.
That's why I said over like 6 or 9 months, I watched it like, a solid 10, 12, 14 times or something.
There's certain movies like Fight Club. Dude, like they require more than one view. You need to watch it
Dude, I can't even tell you
which reminds me
Fight Club.
Another one that has to go on our list definitely is Fight Club. Dude, definitely.
In the collection, bro.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
I know it's in your collection. It's not in mine. But I know
Butterfly Effect should be. I'm going to be honest.
Do you have your collection on your phone?
No, I'm going to order it. I'm literally going to look it up right now and see about ordering this crap. This isn't a joke, bro. We're in the green room. I can do whatever the hell I want. Dude, if my thing is ordering the Butterfly Effect on freaking... So
you don't have it, and you're currently actually ordering it right now, the Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, it's currently not...
With Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, it's currently not in my collection. However, I'm attempting to modify that.
Dude, I was just watching something today with a quick interview with Ashton Kutcher. I don't know if it was just a little cut from it because it was a pretty short video, but it was interesting. It was him talking about how he handles his kids and what kind of internet access he allows. He says, I allow a certain amount, for education, that's fine, we're good. But he says, I limit them when it comes to, for entertainment purposes. And he said, which I kind of like this one, he said, I don't let my kids take electronics into their bedroom.
Well, I mean, and hey, dude,
It has to be in a public part of the house. That's just his rule. But it tends to limit it.
What?
Or maybe it is that at least they're there so that you can see how much time they're spending on it. He said if you're in a public part of the house, it's fine to a point. Like it's supposed to be limited still, but you're right over there? You're still looking something up?
No, I literally just ordered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did it.
That was a good movie though. Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Double copy, Amazon, $9. Thank you, Bezos. What? I'm just saying, bro. Now you and I can, watch that later or something.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, man. Just do it. Do it.
You do it.
Do it.
I just ordered it.
Oh.
I'm going to watch that shit, dude. I didn't even see when it's supposed to come. I think in like a couple days.
Is that supposed to be W.C. Fields or whatever his name is?
Yeah, if that's his name.
Or where Durante is it? Maybe it's.
Well, he looks like Durante. He's got that big old nose on him.
I mean, it could be a number of different guys. I'm trying to figure out who it is. Or is it just some random guy?
I don't know. Maybe it's
Oh, nice.
Rich Mick Uncle Moneybags or something.
I don't know.
Which is like the Monopoly dude's name or something.
No, I'm trying to think. The very familiar look. I wanted like Jimmy Durante or something like that, or.
Oh, that's what I said. He's got Durante's nose.
And with the bow tie and the hat and everything, that's what it looks like. Or W.C. Fields, kind of similar. I don't know. Isn't there a similar look there?
Do I look like somebody who gives a crap right now? I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Wow. Is it getting? Yeah.
What, dude?
Getting that time when you start getting abusive. We need a break.
Does that happen? See, this is why I think you need to turn around. It's not that I don't want to look at you. Just face that way.
Dude, that's hurtful.
I mean, but that's if you're taking it personal and assuming I mean it to be. When in actuality, it's just you're so hilarious that when I look at you, why are you laughing? See this? I'm being honest right now. I'm attempting to be impeccable, and you laughing at me. See, that's me taking it personal.
When you look at me, you can't help but laugh.
If that's where you went, hey, all good, bro. That's not what I meant.
That's what I'm hearing.
When you face me, I pull more of your energy, and your hilarity, osmosis wise, soaks into me.
So don't look at you.
Yeah, just turn around.
Turn around that way, or
do just now turn around.
Just put a bag on my head, or dude, you said, not me.
I mean, I'll double.
That's always your defense. You said that, not me. Which isn't a denial. Like, no, you don't have to put a bag on your head. That's kind of saying, well, yeah, you can put a bag on you, but I didn't tell you to do that. That was you.
I don't know why I'm getting blamed for this shit. What the? This is why I don't try.
It's just the point. That's the whole thing, right? About perception.
This is why I don't want to hang out with you.
I don't want to hang out with you either.
Oh, dude, we never fucking.
No, we didn't.
Oh,
salute.
Na zdrovia. And we need more than that. What are some of the other ones? Chin chin. Cheers. Good on ya.
Definitely cheers. Slancha.
Slancha, yeah. Here's to you.
Aye.
I think, isn't it oi? Oi! No.
Oi.
Depends. I totally just got the freaking scene, Manchester United. My baby takes the morning train.
Totally wrong song, but he totally pulled it off.
That's pretty good. Oh,
breaks
Jesus.
a bottle on his head, right?
And see, that's the thing, dude. Like, again, with that movie, there's so many, the freaking, when they're in Amsterdam.
That's got to be 20 minutes. It's got to be close to that mark.
Honestly,
I'm calling it right now.
I think that one has more quotables than like scenes.
There are some fully quotable scenes in that.
Well,
Exchanges.
If you're going to take the full length version of Scotty Doesn't Know and calculate that into it, all right, there's like 3.5 minutes right there, right? Think about it, it's a song. I guarantee you, there's plenty of people.
Well, it is quotable because there's people that sing the song. That makes it quotable. It's our definition that determines this. Remember that.
Well,
I've got the power.
As well as kind of like when we put it to that wiki idea where people get to, chime in. Because that's the thing is like, there's going to be spots where it's like, hey, maybe we only want to like take a sentence or half a sentence. And people are like, nah, bro, you got to put that whole scene in.
Yeah, put it to a vote.
Yeah, well, and that's where you and I, you were just like, oh, and it's like, but dude,
but is this, I'm just saying. I mean, could this be like the new Rotten Tomatoes or something, or the new?
This is the ITY.
The ITY version.
No, this is the ITY rating system with the John Hughes Meridian. I'm copywriting that shit.
So you.
So you could put my stamp on it.
You could look it up, right? You could look it up just to see the total minutes of quotable.
Well, I mean, honestly, we should probably have like our own website.
Or the percentage, or you could just click and watch the entire, right? I mean, that was the idea that we would truncate.
I like the idea of taking it and turning it into a physical cliff notes of sorts where you chronologically start to finish have those scenes, quotes, etc., where they just boom, 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 and just jump. So that if it's 20 minutes of quotable, dude, it's a 20-minute movie. And it's just the scenes and the quotes and... Which is why I'm like, dude, freaking do weird sign. It's got to be in like the 30s. It's got to be like 30 minutes or something, dude. I'm gonna call that out.
But what about what movies you choose? I mean, can you choose?
Well, that's why. All right, so
current movies. Can you choose? If they fall into that same category, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is this is the system, and there's people are going to start taking our system and then like doing like you were saying themselves.
Let me see Star Wars,
bro.
And then they got to come up with that. What was the name of the movie again? Please Be Kind, Rewind. Or
Be Kind,
Rewind.
Yeah. Yeah, when they
redid all these different movies.
Oh God, they swass it. Oh geez, now I gotta look this up because what's the second time? You know what I mean?
You're looking stuff up again, man. I hate when he does this.
Dude, shut up. Start talking.
You start talking.
Dude, I'm not
talking. You just over there typing. You're like, just start talking. I'm gonna look stuff up. That's just messed up, man.
Yes,
you're just gonna drop me off in the middle of the Bronx. No, speaking of, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Don't start none, won't be none.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, boy from the Bronx. Just saying. What are you doing? What?
Well, so what I'm trying to figure out. What the hell did they call the style of movies that they made? They called it like Swazing it or Swaz. I'm telling you, man.
Oh, I don't remember that part. Sorry, that mate. Got time to help you out. You're just typing like crazy with one thumb.
Bitch. I'm a T9 texter.
You're not ambidextrous with your thumb.
I don't need to be. Thank you. Sweden. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. It's Sweden. It's what Sweding. Sweden.
Okay.
Like Swedening almost, but like Sweden. Yeah, what the hell is Sweden? It's basically the idea that fuels Michael Gondry's upcoming ode to VHS made movie remakes, Be Kind, Rewind, starring Mos Def and Jack Black. Like, dude, that was the thing when they were, when they come to him after they like watched the Ghostbusters, where it's like, hey guys, he's like, what else y'all got? Like make RoboCop. They did like Driving Miss Daisy, where he's in the back, he's like, drive, honky.
Oh, but it was, yeah. And
Jack Black's he's obviously like a complete moron.
It became a complete thing unto itself. Like
they Sweeting the movie. Yeah, dude, Danny Glover's in. There's some dope cast in that movie. And it's a great movie, dude. Be Kind, Rewind. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really dope. Dude, anything with Jack Black or Mos Def, pretty dope.
I feel like every time we do this, we should just start putting them actually on a physical list. We need to keep like a sticky pad here and just start writing.
Oh, they're all up here. They're all in the head, my man.
What are we on now?
17.
What?
It's like you do realize
can you list them all in order that we're supposed to watch them? I'm calling you out on it.
You mean the order
17. You're saying 17 of them right now, starting with Idiocracy.
That's what. So in the chronological order of what was, the Kronka
One beer.
Well, dude, tequila.
Well, yeah, you had.
Well, I also had a seltzer with my pork chops.
Can I have a sip of that?
Of which?
The tequila. Just a sip. I just want to.
Dude, I don't want the Rona.
Just one sip.
Dude, you
Just give me a sip.
You know we sell this, right? I just quit. Yes. Yeah, I did that. Dude, I don't give a shit, bro. Whatever. I mean, there's more in the fridge, right?
No, yours tastes better.
I'm gonna agree.
Oh, dude, that's what you said.
See, I can. Got me laughing so hard, I'm choking myself over here. Oh, I see spots. No, I see dots. Oh, that's what it is. Can't even quote right. I'm like,
get the fuck out of here.
No, it's serious. It's hard. I wish you could say my name. It's not Surge. It's Surge. When you say it like, it sounds like a detergent. Jesus Lord. Oh, dude, don't you look at me in this tone of voice. You shut your mouth. You're talking to me.
Well, all I did was look up as I tried to catch my breath.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Just turn.
Just turn. I'm gonna sound like I'm really far away. I gotta move the mic with me.
Dude, we need to do this like Howard Stern studio when they actually like put each other in different parts and so they can just like look at each other, but they're all like 5 or 6 feet away.
I'm on the right side of your headphones right now.
Actually, no, it's not in stereo. It's monochromatic like a zebra.
Oh man. So I'm not facing away enough. I don't want to.
Dude, no.
I don't want to, I don't want to.
Nobody puts Mr. Gemini in the corner. I do like it. Oh, Jesus Lord.
Oh, this is a proper green room. I love it.
Yeah, no shit it is. Hey, size gates, tequila, beer, seltzer, pork chops.
It's all about it's all about the mood, though. Like, we came into it with a good mood tonight, I think. Some good energy. I hope it will equate to that show. I'm not even going to say I hope. It will equate to the show.
Dude, we're here to pump you up. That's what you just did, bro. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, oh. Yeah, I think do we either need to take a break or we need to keep running for like another half hour? We just got to get this shit out.
Drink a beer while we take a break and then crack one on the show.
Yeah, that's great. Dude, we're just gonna dude, I can just see that episode. It's just gonna be you and I just laughing.
Dude, I don't even know what is even going on.
The first 5 minutes is literally all laughing. People are just like, "What is this?" And they're like checking. They're like, "Dude, it's the right station." Yeah, 8:05. Well, what is going on? I was never in.
All right. I wasn't even in aisle 4. All right. Catch your breath. But yeah, what? Hey.
What you want?
Not to take care of, but we passed the mark, man.
Dude, I thought I was asking you to pass the mic.
Could you please pass the jelly?
Dude, I can't. Dude, if I was like 2 Beastie Boys in a row, you should have backed me up.
Yeah, I'm on my own as usual.
Just tie to it as usual. And you better not leave. Yes, old man.
Yes, old man. Still on the truck, tied to it as usual.
So they superimposed me. He's like, okay. And he's walking away.
We were mosh pitting.
He's like, when he's walking away, he's like, what superimposed me? What superimposed me? Yeah, no. Oh, the Ragu festival. Oh my God.
It was crowd surfing, man. Crank it up, fuckers.
Yeah, the Ragu festival. Ragu.
The reggae festival, man.
Yeah. Hey, remember that time you took me to the Hey,
go. Why don't you go long?
Oh, what? Oh, with With the football? No, I mean, you know, I got fucking hooves. You know what I mean? Like a tennis ball, maybe.
I don't have any fingers.
Nah, come on, go. You go. Ah, fuck it. Okay. Oh,
Fuck me in the goat ass.
well, yeah, you really button hook me. Oh, Jesus Lord.
That's the only part we usually pull out. Is
the button hook. Well, yeah, no, these oh, yeah, goat. You gotta knot the what? Yeah, a knot on your head. You better not mention it again, cocksucker. Oh, Jesus.
Classic Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I know, right? So much good shit.
So I think this was a good one. I think we're warmed up enough. Maybe too warmed up.
Dude, we're definitely tuned up. That's for sure.
All right, fam. Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us.
Holy shit! Are you seriously calling this episode?
What?
Dude, am I? Wow. All right, nah, bro. Sasuke, mate.
All right, I'm just gonna go on like he's not even talking right now. So if you want to get in touch with us, I'm telling you, even though this isn't the show proper, but get in
Not
touch
if you
with us.
want to touch us. If you want to get in touch.
If you want to touch us.
If you want me, baby.
If you want my body.
And your thing, I'll say. Piper,
So right, yeah. In all seriousness, if you want to get in touch with us,
bro, I'm so taking us off the track.
drop us a line.
You can't even pick it up.
It's
pick it
your
up.
turn. It's your turn now to take
It's
over.
my time. It's my time over here.
I'm telling you at directionsandmusic.org. That's IMDLLINYOU at directionsandmusic.org. It's going to be an interesting program, I think.
When is it not interesting? I mean, come on, man. What? I don't. You know, I just like flipped it. I was just like, I mean, let's be serious for a minute.
I'm
Can't we?
serious with me right now. Honestly, this is a very spectacular show. Just spectacular.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Oh, wait, did I miss?
T-E-L-L.
Dude, matter of fact, never show this part again.
Just fast forward past this part.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, no, hey, dude, hey.
Thanks for clicking the button.
Well, we're in the green room. You know what I mean? This
Yeah,
is the B-signs.
they still got to click the button, and I'm glad they did.
If you find the button, you should definitely. Thank you for listening. Have a great wait, we did the I'm telling you. All right, cool. And B-sides in the green room. All right, cool. Yeah, Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
Birds.
Peace.